Alright, I'm on hole number 9 of the Clifftop Links tournament. I'm in Monday's practice round. My caddy and I have been walking around. We're learning some stuff about the course, and we've learned a lot of things. This hole right here, I'm going to play the Creepy Cliffs. I missed a 2-inch putt in the Creepy Cliffs, and I got to hole number 18, and I still had a shot. And I played this hole all week long and had no problems, and I came here on hole number 18 and epic failed on hole number 18 and ended up going from a guaranteed top 5 serious shot at a banner to a 19th place. So this hole can ruin your round. And being the last hole, and it is a very tricky hole. This is another one of those holes that, take the word albatross out of your vocabulary and just focus on making sure you get your eagle. I'm going to try and short shoot. I want to land right here. I'm not trying to get anything. I'm not trying to get past the sand. I'm not trying to get up here. I'm not dealing with the rough. I just want to land right out in this area and come at it with a guardian. And I'm going to use backspin, side spin, and curl, which anytime you use the word curl, that's you got a lower chance of making that shot, but it's almost a guaranteed. If you get over, it's a guaranteed eagle. So I'm going to use an extra mile, and I'm going to use what my notes say is Kingmaker, and that's because the last shot is a backspin, side spin, curl shot, and you can use less curl if you have a bigger side spin ball, but I don't have any or enough to blow them. So I'm going to use a Titan. I still need that 3 power ball. Make sure I've got Guardian, Side, Iron Claw. I'm going to change these back to my my usual suspects. Just in case something bad happens out there, I want to make sure I am okay with those. All right, hole number 9. This hole, for me, going into the green, it's just a pure luck deal. I mean, if you're here and somebody makes an albatross, high five, jump up and down, but that's a pure luck shot. You have a look at it, and anytime you have a look, it can go in. You really want to make sure that you make good wind adjustments down here in this hole, because it does carry a little farther. Just trying to lay up. It's about a 2-ring pull. Let's watch where my landing zone is. Hit it great to the right. See where I landed there, and just nice and easy on the other side. But you can see where I landed on the other side, the first bounce on the other side. I want to give myself that little bit of distance there. I don't want to try and get every bit. That's why I'm starting 2 rings off and making a pure wind adjustment. I know if you watch a lot of other people's videos, they'll talk about, on the drive shot, making wind adjustments. Normally in rookie, I don't make wind adjustments on drive shots. I just try and leave myself enough room so that it's not really that big of a factor. Sometimes on those holes, you will want to make an adjustment. You really don't want to get down in there. If you're playing in the higher divisions where the wind is much, much higher, you'll probably want to make some kind of an adjustment there. Now I can tell you can get on from the sand right here if you've got a Spitfire, but it's a tough shot even with the Spitfire. See where my red line is? I have plenty of club here, so I'm going to start in front of all these traps. I'm going to be 2 rings off. I use maximum backspin and as much side spin as I can get in there. And what I'm looking for is the distance to the tip to the hole, and I'm trying to gauge that distance in curl. And this hits about 1.2 per ring. It's 1.4, so there's about a ring and a half. There's max curl, so that's a max curl shot. Hit it great on the right, great on the outside. Just try and bring myself up to the hole. I took the sand out. I took the sand out on the first shot because I wasn't trying to hit past it. I took the sand out on the second shot. I took the island out. I took the rough here out because I was in front of all of that stuff. And so, are my chances of getting an Albie grim? Yeah, but it's almost it's like a guaranteed eagle. And this hole right here, this is exactly what's going to happen. People are coming to this hole and they're got the best of intentions, and then they get in that sand because they tried to overshoot it, and now they're in big trouble. And I really don't want to shoot an eagle here. I'm going to forfeit. Can't afford to, cannot afford to qualify today. And I've seen people sandbagging on these holes. All right. That was kind of a walkthrough on the Clifftop Links tournament. So I definitely learned some things today. And I'll go back and watch the videos and make some changes on my notes on what I'm going to do. Especially there's a couple of them where I tried some different balls. A couple of the holes that are concerning here. Hole number 1's pretty straightforward. Hole number 2, that wind adjustment on hole number 2 is gonna. This hole right here, I am just not sure what the heck is going on here. Even with wind adjustment stuff, it's just that there's so many places out here to get irregular bounces, and I think if you're in one spot here, you're going to achieve a certain goal, and then you change to a different spot, and then it's going to react differently. This hole right here is not going to be one of my favorite holes. Hole number 3, I did find out on this hole that you better get all the way up to the tip, because even with a level 7 big dog, anytime I had 180 yards on my big dog. So if you got a big dog that's got 180 yards, I was about halfway up this plateau with a 3-power ball and had to use overpower in order to get over. Not a lot of overpower, but I had to apply some overpower in order to get over to do a rough bump to drop down the hill to get to the green. This is definitely, if you've got 4-power balls in your bag, this is definitely a hole to bring them out, and you need to bring them out now. That way you can practice to make sure that you've got your top spin stuff set up on this drive shot so that you're as deep as you can be, but not taking any risks of being in the rough. From where I was at here, if I would have been halfway further to the rough, I probably could have got over with no overpower, and there is a wind going in this direction on this hole, so we could engage that wind and do the rough bump to get down onto the green. What did I learn on 4? 4 is pretty straightforward. You don't have to do any big stuff here. I know in one-on-one play, I never do I do a regular wind adjustment with no addition on it, and I have gotten a lot of hole-in-ones on this hole, and today I was right there. Hole number 5. I like this hole. I'm not going to make any changes on that hole. Hole number 6. This hole here, because the way the wind is blowing in the tournament, so if you've got any kind of forward blowing wind, if you're using a 3-power ball and an upper level extra mile, your red line's right in this area right here. So you have, okay, my pen will start. Your red line's right in this area right here, so you do have a little bit of fairway to work with here. So if you have any forward wind, you don't have to use overpower. We have wind coming in this direction. So either, once again, bringing a 4-power ball, or you're going to have to do a little bit of overpower, and anytime you're doing overpower, it's going to, make that shot more difficult, so it's not as consistent. So if I'm not finding that I like the fact that I have to use overpower, and in this account, my practice account, I don't have any 4-power balls, I'm definitely going to want to hit out here to the shadow and get that straight in shot to the green. Hole number 7, what did I learn on hole number 7? Hole number 7, I learned that once again, we're having this type of wind. I think the last time we were here, we might have had a headwind or a pure side wind. so that we could adjust it out. So I was using a rocket with a 0 power ball, and my red line was right here, and there wasn't enough maneuverability. I couldn't pull it forward I couldn't pull it forward far enough to give me enough room to be able to adjust the wind out. So if I use a rocket here, even with max backspin and a 0 power ball, I'm pretty much relegating myself to being long out in this area every shot. Kind of takes the shot of hole-in-one out. But as tough as some of the other holes are in this tournament, if you do the shot from out here, which you can definitely do, and you're hitting that second bounce into the narrow part of the fairway here, trying to run it up to the hole, this is probably going to be your best shot at a hole-in-one, but you're taking a big risk here, and if you epic fail on this hole, you can't recover. So these par threes, I may play safe and just play for birdie. I'll have to work that out as the week goes on. I'm never too concerned about the par threes at the beginning of the week. I continue to work on them, and see what's achievable, and then make my decision as the week goes on. This hole right here, my note said Kingmaker, QB Kingmaker. I came at it with a katana, and I was in about the same spot. I end up in it with a Kingmaker, and the reason I was in the same spot is because I'm not using all my club. The red line's up here, and I was actually back here, so that my white ring, when I turn it sideways and you got your ring set here, my white ring was even with about the bottom of the sand. And max topspin, max curl, and then I put on, max topspin, max side spin, and then I put on max curl. I'm trying to set this shot up. I was 2.5 rings off of the transition, and I'm trying to set this shot up so that when I come here, I set it in this spot, I do maximum curl, and I end up out here. And I do maximum curl, and I end up out here. So I'm in the same spot every time. So because of this, because you're pulling it back from the red line and you're setting it up and you're putting all that stuff on there, it's not going to matter on the shot whether you're using a Kingmaker or a katana. You're going to end up down in the same spot. But where the Kingmaker is going to help you is when I went to do the shot in, my red line was right here, and I wasn't deep enough in the hole to use my short iron. I had to use my Saturn, and what I can see happening there is where you're in between clubs, and then you can't use either one for the backspin. I mean, you'd be able to use your long iron more than likely in backspin, but you're taking out your shot of getting, and I had to do that here. I had to actually short shoot it because I was right there at that transition. So I'm going to bring a Kingmaker so that on my second shot, I can engage my short iron and not be on that in between clubs. Hole number 9. And I play this hole. This to me is a low percentage albatross shot and it's also a very difficult eagle. It can be. And so I don't normally get super aggressive on this hole. I try and end up in this area, and I guardian backspin, side spin it in towards the cup. All right. That was the Monday practice round. Learned a few things. Still have a little bit of work to do. Hopefully everybody will have a great day today and practice some of these shots and see how your clubs work on those holes. All right, thanks for watching.